What's going on, guys? WannaMess here, back with a new Raid Shadow Legends video. So today, I'm continuing my weekly Platinum Arena series. However, I've got a little bit of a twist for you guys this week. This week, I actually swapped accounts with one of my moderators from my Twitch stream. His name is Clives. I'm on his account right now playing, and then he played the reset on my account. I have the footage from both of them, so I can show you guys me playing on I don't know a good way to describe it without sounding mean, but basically an account with not quite as good champions, and I would say actually surprisingly similar gear in terms of like actual damage dealers and stuff, but slightly worse gear. So obviously a really big part of Platinum Arena is the champions and like what you can do with them, etc. But so yeah, so we're gonna start off with me pushing on his account. We'll see how I do. And then the second half of the video will be him pushing on my account with me sort of commentating on the choices that he makes, what I would have maybe done differently, etc. So let's jump right into it then. So this one, we already kind of missed the whole fight, but basically I tried using a speed team on his account. He does have a 372 speed Arbiter, which is very fast, but pretty much everybody in Platinum was outspeeding me. So I had to kind of give up on that team. So what I had to do was I started using this Go Second team. So we have Kymar, Krisk, Madam, Yannica. I'm pretty sure I used this team for literally this entire 15-minute stretch, as this is kind of what you have to do, right? If you have like one good, powerful team and it's your best team, you use it, you keep using it. So pretty straightforward here. We found a Duchess Raglan team, so double revive. We strip them, defense down, wait for the reactions to wear off, and then Yannica goes in, nukes, and they are all dead. So we actually swapped accounts. We swapped accounts Friday night. So I made some pretty drastic changes to his builds on his account. He made some changes to mine. I'll try to point them out on the champions that he actually uses on my account. But for this account specifically, I didn't like make massive changes to the Kymar, but basically I switched some gear around, and all I did was I made him faster with higher accuracy, which that's all that really matters with Kymar for this team. One really massive change that I did though was I made his Krisk way slower. He was running his Krisk around 240 speed before this, and I slowed him down to about 170. The reason for this was when you're attacking Hegemon teams, especially with Kymar. So Kymar strips and sleeps everybody. If your Krisk is too fast, if he gets locked out by the Hegemon, then he's forced to use his A1 ability, which is an AoE. So that might let the enemy team wake up, and then they might be able to sort of like, if they take turns, they might be able to mess up my team and throw off my order. So I made the Krisk way slower here. Now, if I would go and do this a second time, what I would actually do is, I didn't see too many like Hegemon Torment or excuse me, Hegemon Warlord or Hegemon Kymar teams in high gold for low platinum. But what was extremely common was just Torment, and then actually a lot of Duchesses. So we'll see another Torment Duchess right here. And so what I would have done differently is I would have actually kept Krisk faster than the Yannica and Madam. You'll see right here, Yannica starts with 2 turns of immunity, and then she does her A2, takes an extra turn, and then uses her A3 to do damage. So that means she's all out of her immunity. But if Krisk goes before her, then I could have extended her buffs before she takes a turn. That way she has 3 turns of immunity, and then I wouldn't be getting frozen here. I wouldn't have decreased attack, decreased crit damage, all of these really bad debuffs on me that's slowing my fight down. I wouldn't have any of those. So looking back, that's definitely a pretty big change that I would make, and actually I think it would have made a huge difference in some of these fights. This one is a prime example, right? I got frozen, and then I had to delay all of my damage abilities. We're pushing a minute on the fight here. Swift Parry just procced on Duchess. But we're looking okay here. We get back around on our abilities. And the A1 actually finishes it off from Yannica. Minute 5 is not great, not terrible though. So about 11 minutes left here, and I'm just looking for teams that I know I don't have to be afraid of in terms of like a Warlord lockout, Kymar going before my Kymar, etc. So I was targeting a lot of Duchess teams, Hegemon, Torment teams, etc. This one goes pretty straightforward. Kymar sleeps everybody. I ran Yannica super slow here. I'm pretty sure I ran her at 175 speed or so. Really super focused on massive damage output in immunity gear, so that the enemy team can go before me, get rid of their reaction gear, and then I go and I nuke them, right? Because my team doesn't have increased speed buff on it or anything like that, other than Krisk occasionally. And so you see right here, due to masteries, I was actually able to get Krisk to go before Yannika. He extends the block debuffs. Now, normally, Tormund would have crowd controlled me here, and I would have, maybe the fight would have extended. Maybe I lose, who knows? And then Krisk going again there after the Kymar reset to extend her block debuffs one more time is just so nice, so useful. So hopefully Clydes likes this team and keeps using it, because I think as making some small adjustments, this team will be really, really good for him going forward. But yeah, Yannika finishing off the Tormund here. We have to kill him after his frozen phase. Not too much to talk about here. I didn't really change the Madam too much. I just made some adjustments to, like, I just swapped some pieces around, got her a little bit more accuracy, and slowed her down. Not that I intentionally want to be slow, but I wanted her to be closer to Yannika's speed, so that there's less chance of my own team getting interrupted in between turns. Here we're attacking. This team is very silly. I don't know what this person's doing, really. Duchess Lydia, Valkyrie, Trunda. Just not a lot of synergies there. 17 seconds, we cleaned up quickly. About 9 minutes left here. We see another team without no Warlord, no Kymar. It's basically just a tanky team with a win condition of Kandrifon, sorry. So we go here, and unfortunately we get a little bit unlucky here. Ursuga procs the Resurgent Mastery and removes his decreased defense. I don't think it ends up changing anything. I think that our nuke still goes through properly, as she died that turn, but we see here this Brogni actually has high enough resistance to consistently resist my Madam. So that means that I wasn't able to land defense down, and my Yannika is a weak affinity damage dealer against this Brogni. So this Brogni out by himself actually stalls us out to almost a minute, I think. Getting a little bit unlucky with a weak hit on the A2 there. 65% chance to normal hit, 35% to weak hit. And then he actually heals himself and puts shields on here. So my Yannika is trying to do damage, really struggling. We're hitting a minute right now. And then I try to strip again. I get fully resisted. And minute 02, we finally don't weak hit there, and it's looking okay. You see, I think we dipped out of Platinum there for a second. What I learned during this is that high gold for low platinum is super competitive. I didn't really have a good idea of kind of like what it was like, because on my own account, I either start from already pretty high up in platinum, or while I'm climbing, my defense doesn't really get hit because I have those classic really scary champions like Hegemon, Warlord, Siphi, etc. Duchess, versus the teams that I'm hitting right now. I'm intentionally hitting teams that are not, Hegemon, Warlord, right? So here we actually get a refresh in, find another team. So this one does have Hegemon, but we're prepared for Hegemon, right? We have immunity on, we have really big Krisk shields. We're running the slow team here. Duchess doesn't get slept, so she gets a turn, or she woke up, I'm not totally sure. And she actually full tanks the Yannika A2, so that's a super tanky Duchess right there. But we managed to finish her off with the A3. We're going, and we get the reset from Kymar, and we're not in too much danger here. We have protection from Krisk. Kymar's already done his job. Even if Mountain King killed him, it'd be fine. Now you see here, we get a little bit unlucky. So this is something that I was going to change on this Madam, but I wasn't sure if Clydes was running it a certain way. So he has the mastery called Cycle of Revenge in the defense tree, which means that when anybody on my team gets hit with a critical hit, Madam has a chance to gain turn meter, which, especially in a go second team like this, where your turn order is very important, you don't really want that mastery on people other than like the Kymar, right? Because if Kymar goes faster, that's not bad, but if Madam kind of goes out of turn or goes too early, that can really mess it up. So we didn't end up losing or anything, but that delayed the fight a little bit. And here we see another tanky team with Kandrifon, and I see that all of the pretty much everybody goes and gets rid of their reaction gear if they have it. We get a little follower notification there. Goffin2, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. And then we just, honestly, we reset and we do it again. Strip it all over again. And I believe I target... Okay, I go for the Rector Drath, and then I just go for the AoE hit here. And see, once again, if Krisk had been faster than Yannika there, he would have extended her buffs, and then she wouldn't have had that decreased attack and decreased crit damage from Ursuga on her. And I may have one-shot this. I may have properly killed this team, versus now I have to go through an entire extra rotation of abilities. So right there, I knew that people still had their revive abilities, and I wanted to save Yannika's A2. So 1 minute total for this fight, not too bad. We're down into the last 5 minutes now. I'm still in platinum at 47.93. I'm doing pretty well in my opinion. I haven't taken any losses on offense since about the 20-25 minute mark. I was kind of chancing people versus speed teams back then, and I took like 2 losses in a row, and I was like, okay, nope, not gonna happen, not doing it anymore. And so we see here once again, Hegemon crits my team, so Krisk gains turn meter from the mastery. He goes before Yannika, so then he extends her block debuffs, and now I'm not getting debuffed by Tormund. I could have been, taunted there, or I could have had, all these bad debuffs. But instead, we managed to kill the team. We just have the Tormund left here, and just gotta slowly finish him off. About 40 seconds. Considering the limited champions on this account, there's pretty much no like meta arena champions other than really the Kymar and the Krisk here. No Trunda. This account has 4 Rhodoses, but no Siphi, unfortunately. No Duchess, no Warlord, no Hegemon, anything like that. So I was just picking teams that this exact team can hit and can hit effectively, which I think it did pretty well. It just low platinum, high gold 4 is just really, really competitive. And I think it's such a good thing, right? It makes me so happy to see that. So unfortunately, the Necrit actually resists the defense down here. I don't know, maybe it was 3%, maybe he has high resistance, I'm not too sure. We just target the Duchess, A2, A3, we kill everybody, proc her Swift Parry, so that's really nice. Reset, revive, we're just gonna strip and do it all over again. This time we land the defense down on Necrit, so we can focus him down with the A2 first, and then we hit through shields anyways, so we don't need to be worried about that on Duchess. 34 seconds, pretty quick, not too bad. So we're down to about 2.5 minutes here, and here's where you're gonna see, this is where that Krisk change would have made a really big difference for me, if I remember correctly. So we have a Hegemon A2 opener, and then unfortunately, the Hegemon landed, he landed the A1 on Yannika, which reduced her turn meter with Evil Eye. And if we actually go back here really quick and look, Krisk gets frozen in the middle of his ability, which means that the rest of his ability doesn't go through. You can see Yannika only has 2 turns of block debuffs here, instead of, it should have been extended to 3. So now they cleansed my reduced defense off. And so I'm just trying to nuke, trying to kill people if I can, but with the Duchess damage reduction, I'm not able to kill through that. And now my Yannika, due to the Hegemon A2, got locked out, but it's too late now. So Madam gives her block debuffs now, but it's too late, right? I have decreased attack on, I have my abilities are all locked out. My Kymar doesn't have block debuffs anymore. Krisk is in trouble. And so I thought about resetting my abilities with Kymar, but Yannika was still locked out, so I didn't do it. And now probably you can make an argument that what I should have done there on Krisk's turn was I probably should have just done his A1 instead of his A3. I think I disrespected Tormund a little bit too much. I'm so used to fighting him on my own account where I'm constantly using Siphi. So actually, with about a minute left there, I actually get a loss on offense, and you can see on my bar up here, I actually get kicked out of platinum right here. So I'm scrambling, I'm panicking, thinking, oh my god, I can't believe I got kicked out. So I pick the first team that I see that I think I can hit, And unfortunately, I pick a super tanky team. And right here, I'm pretty sure if I go back and look, I'm pretty sure that oh wait, no, sorry, that's ally protection from Necrit that can't be removed. I thought I got unlucky there, but so we have ally protection on Duchess that can't be removed from Necrit, and then Duchess does her own Veil ability, so that means that I can only target her. And so I try to nuke her with Yannica, it just doesn't work. I'm trying to get this fight in. My chat is on the side telling me like how long I have left. So I try to switch targets and kill Ursuga instead because she's constantly reducing the damage that Duchess is taking. Unfortunately here we do, in the battle, we proc Mortu Macabre's passive, and he kills off my Madam, can't be revived. No more block debuffs on Yannica, so I take a huge hit from Mortu Macabre, and I get block buffs placed on me, and then unfortunately Ursuga actually kills her. So this fight is done. I know for a fact. I only had about a minute left to win this fight. Everybody dies, so I've definitely lost this one. So I waited out, and then I just back out sort of once I know it's over, so I don't place even lower. And I was hoping maybe I get a defense win to push me back in, but unfortunately I placed gold 4 on this account. So it just goes to show you, I was doing pretty well in offense in my opinion, and then since that loss didn't count against me, I got one loss with about 2 minutes left, and I couldn't get any more points, and that was it. I was out. And you actually see there towards the end, I actually got quite a few wins on defense, and those all counted, and I still got kicked out. You see here, I have a pretty good mix of wins and losses on the defense. This is a defense that I actually put together for this account, or it was mostly built by Clyde's, but I made some changes, and then I built, I believe I showed the defense in a little bit here. I built a Rector Drath to go into this team. And I did that. I built that one myself. She turned out really, really well. Clyde has some really good gear for Swift Parry, at least. It's just unfortunate that he doesn't have a Duchess to wear it. So, let me see if I take a peek at the defense in a second here. Okay, so here's the defense that I ran on this team. It was Lydia in the lead. It was a high resistance Raglan. Mountain King, very high damage and a shield set for some extra protection. And then it was a Swift Parry. Even though low power, it was actually a very tanky Rector Drath. So it pulled out some wins. I think people probably disrespected it and didn't attack it properly and didn't realize just how annoying Raglan can be if you don't actually lock her out or kill her, because she has a 2-turn revive. And then the way that I positioned them was, if Lydia's alive, but if Mountain King is dead, Raglan will revive the next person in order with full turn meter. So she's reviving this Mountain King with full turn meter, and then hopefully he goes and kills somebody, right? So that's why we probably got some good wins on defense. I think the team did well on defense. It was just, unfortunately, my mistakes on offense that made it so I didn't finish platinum on this account. So let's go watch Clyde's run on my account, and I will sort of talk through what he did, what I would have done differently if I feel like there's any major mistakes that he made. So I will see you in just a second. All right, so here is the run on my account being done by Clyde's, the last 15 minutes or so. So we'll kind of talk about what he does wrong, what he does right, what I would have done differently, etc. So here, jumping right into it, we see he's attacking a Kymar team. Now, Kymar and Valkyrie, so that means that the Kymar being protected, he can't just sleep Kymar to make sure that the enemy Kymar doesn't strip everybody on my team or his team. So unfortunately, he does Siphi's buff into Arbiters, and then with the turn meter reduction from the Valkyrie, the enemy Kymar is able to cut in here. And you'll see that he actually chooses to do the shield and healing from Warlord. It's a really tough call in this fight. I don't know if locking them out would have been better instead. I think it was worth a shot to try to just nuke everybody with Trunda, and I don't think she was about to die, but Necrit may have placed decreased attack on her, which would have made that nuke impossible. I think that Warlord locking out would have been the safe call, but I think that going for the heal so that Trunda doesn't get decreased attack and she can still properly nuke was trying to win more quickly, which I can respect. So here we see he does a refresh, kind of looking at the teams. He spends kind of a long time thinking about these teams, how to hit them. We're seeing here him pondering about Revan's team with the Duchess, Warlord, Hegemon, and Ursuga. And we actually see right now this is a slightly lower team power, so 252,000. You could pretty much assume that this would be a lower resistance Warlord, probably a high accuracy variation. So he brings in the Molly, which I actually don't use Molly too much on my own account. Molly is effective for attacking Hegemon. However, it tends to be pretty risky with the A1, with the Hegemon AI change, right? So you'll see here, this is something that he does kind of a lot that I really disagree with. He keeps on using Trunda's A2 ability before people have taken a turn, especially Ursuga, right? At this level of Platinum, you can assume that people at least have one piece of reaction on anybody that they're running in their defense. So Trunda's A2 is a single target ability, and then the damage splash is based off of your initial damage. So if you target, even though Ursuga is a very high health target, if you target her first and then it procs reaction, the rest of the hits are just going to do no damage. And we see here, he chooses to sleep Duchess instead of the Warlord, and then Warlord locks him out. So a bit of an unfortunate choice here, and then Warlord heals up and then does block debuffs and shields. All of the abilities are locked out. He's just trying to kind of scramble and get more turns. Trunda actually gets stunned here with decreased speed on her. It's not looking so hot. And this is something else that I probably would have done. I feel like he doesn't use auto very much. I use auto constantly in battles, but he obviously came onto my account not being very familiar with my teams, my champions. He's never used, teams or champions like this. He had the weekend to practice, but it's still, spending a year and a half on your own account, being used to all of that, and then trying to spend 2 days to prep on somebody else's account is very difficult. There's a lot of time wasted when you're not using the auto fight function, right? It doesn't really matter who he sleeps here. Oh, actually, you know what? That's actually not true. It was good to sleep Warlord here in case he had his abilities back. I'm just so used to running Warlord on my own offense that I kind of I let Sify target whoever she wants to. By now, people have gotten back through and, used up their reaction rings or passives. And he actually Trunda A3s, but this team is so tanky and he doesn't have increased attack on his Trunda. So she kills the very squishy Hegemon, but pretty much everybody else who's actually half tanky on the team still lives. So we see, on top of that, very frustrating, the Duchess still procs her Swift Parry, still has it. She is very slow though, so Sify actually makes it back around and re-sleeps her, and then he's able to finish her off. Almost 3 minutes, so definitely not an ideal win there, but getting a win instead of backing out for a loss, he still had a good chunk of time left. I agree with that there. Now we see here he actually goes in and hits a member from Mad, which is my own clan. Luckily somebody was in his chat and let him know that he was hitting a Mad member. And he actually backs out here. He does the respectful thing, the right thing. If you accidentally hit a clan member and you hit a clan member, it's just to back out. Luckily this was with 10 minutes or so, 10 and a half minutes. So it had no impact at all on the final ranking. There's so much that can change in those last 10 minutes. There's no way that had any impact. So here he goes back to my tried and true speed team. He knows he's going to be faster than this Sify because the enemy Sify has a Duchess aura for speed, and we have an Arbiter aura. And see what I'm talking about here is he has my team put in there, but he's still like manualing a lot of turns. He manualed Arbiters A3, he manualed Warlords A3, and then he did the same thing there where he used his A2 on Ursuga. Now, I believe reactions procs, but it actually still hit decently hard. So it did an okay amount of damage, and then Trunda is still very strong with increased attack and no increased defense on the enemy team, just one shot straight through it. So here he's trying to attack. So this is Kymar, Hegemon, Tormund, Valkyr. This is actually a more difficult team than I think most people would realize. And he makes the correct decision in what team to hit with. He just unfortunately leaves the team on auto at the beginning. So since he changed out of my preset team, Kymar doesn't have the correct AI anymore to sleep on auto. So he leaves it on auto. Kymar does his reset and turn meter ability. And then unfortunately, everybody gets stripped by the enemy Kymar. We don't have block debuffs anymore. We're getting debuffed like crazy, getting stunned like crazy. And it's just doomed at this point. I believe he backs out pretty soon here. Yeah, with the Trunda freeze and then the sleep, I think he backs out now. He realizes he probably should have, the second Kymar used his A3 and then he got stripped, he probably should have backed out immediately. But now he knows, okay, I just left it on auto, that was my mistake. Without that, this team is going to work pretty well. So we'll see here, he takes it off of the start on auto. Molly is very good into Hegemon, obviously. We full strip everybody with Kymar. Trunda nuke, kills almost everybody. And then we finish off at least the first part of Tormund there. We reset, Trunda one shot, 18 seconds. So that's where wasting about 40 seconds just to back out and lose, versus he could have just, if he had done it, if he had attacked properly and just not left it on auto, he would have had a win instead of that loss. So here we see, goes back to the speed team here, attacking Sify Duchess, Warlord Ursuga, extremely common team right now. And I believe he A2s again. See, so he A2s again here, and the Ursuga does proc reaction. It does do some okay damage. You can see most of the team took about a fourth to a fifth of their health. Personally, I've started almost always, especially during reset, I pretty much always open with Trunda's A1, honestly. Just to get rid of that, just so I don't waste my own abilities on the enemy team's reaction. So this one, it actually works out pretty well. I don't think the Warlord had taken a turn yet. I wasn't paying full attention, but basically he does luck out a little bit here, but as per usual, the so-called 50-50 Swift Parry procs on the Duchess, but once again, very slow Duchess here. And he makes the choice to not use the Arbiter A3. I'm not entirely sure why. He knows that Duchess is locked out, so he's okay to not sleep with Sify. Personally, I actually would have slept with Sify there because it's kind of surprising, but Duchess actually, even just the shields from her A1 can be pretty annoying to break through, especially if you're trying to use like a support champion like Arbiter, Sify, Warlord, etc. Obviously, we had Trunda and she was still alive, but it could have saved maybe a couple of seconds if he had A1 with Sify and then just finished off the Duchess with somebody else. So we see here he's getting hit a little bit and he decides to make a swap to a different Hegemon. I actually don't know how he built the other Hegemon. So he switches to that Hegemon for the last 6 minutes or so and then goes back to start hitting people. We see somebody running a Sify with a Kymar lead with Duchess Warlord, another variation of a popular defense. Most people are running, Ursuga or something like that instead of the Kymar in this team, but he gambles that my account is faster than this one, which it is faster than most people in Platinum, but not everybody. And we see here Duchess procs reaction gear and stays alive, and we go through. She is now not having reaction anymore and might still have Swift Parry, but we'll see right when the Trunda nuke's here. And he goes for the A1 so that the A2 damage doesn't get reduced from Duchess's passive. It would still kill Duchess. I'm not sure if he knows actually, but Trunda's A2 actually technically doesn't count as an AoE for Duchess's passive. It's also totally possible that he was just doing that in case Duchess proc Swift Parry, got back around and revived people, so he would still have the A2 to kill people. Now here we see the same thing once again where he A2s the Ursuga. So once again, people take some damage, but not a lot. Ursuga takes about a third, the rest of the team takes about a fifth to a fourth of their health. And then he goes into the A3. See, here is where it actually backfires a little bit. So Warlord would have died, but Swift Parry, Ursuga doesn't die, Duchess doesn't die, and Kanderfon doesn't die. So we're in kind of a tight spot here because we've used both of Trunda's AoE abilities. Even if we revive her, she doesn't have any way to kill kind of everybody at once. He gets off the revive. And I don't remember exactly who he targets here. He should probably go to try to kill the Duchess. Okay, he does kill, and Swift Parry. You gotta love it. Gotta love this meta. So we're getting stalled out here, a minute and 11. Sleeping the Kandrifon is definitely the right call. We get Warlord's ability, A3 back to lock everybody out. Now we're just kind of cycling turns, trying to kill people as quickly as possible. And there's the Swift Parry on Kandrifon. Minute and a half now. Sleep on Kandrifon so that he doesn't kill Trunda once again. Good move there. And now we're just trying to do our best to get our way back around to our abilities. Minute 40. Pretty slow win for that team there. I know that team can be done in 30 to 40 seconds or so. So about 3 minutes left. He sees the same team that we just hit, and I think he goes back in, and let's see if he adjusts his strategy. So boost into, oh, see, okay, so here's where he actually gets baited a little bit. So if we go back, so he sees the resistance here. You see this resist right here, but he didn't notice the symbol above Warlord's head. He sees his resistance and he thinks that Warlord resisted the ability cooldown reset, but Warlord resisted the turn meter reset. So he plays very carefully, thinking that Warlord still has his A3 ability when he actually doesn't, which that's just something when you don't have your own Warlord on your account. Even honestly, it's easy for me watching this video back to be like, oh yeah, I noticed that all the time, but yeah, he plays very carefully, sleeping the Warlord, thinking that he still has his A3. Unfortunately, we get a little bit unlucky. Candy counterattacks and then kills Siphi, and we are quite a ways away from our abilities. He's trying to think about like who to hit and what to do, because he wants to keep Warlord asleep, because he thinks once again that Warlord has his A3 ability. So he takes the very safe route and actually just A1s Duchess. I don't hate it necessarily, because it also lets the enemy team take turns to get rid of reaction gear if they still had it, like especially Ursuga. And now he's kind of worried, thinking Warlord's about to lock him out, trying to maybe kill Duchess with a crit there or something, and then lo and behold, Warlord just runs forward and A1's Trunda a little unimpressively. And then slowly we just finish off the Warlord here. Minute 20. Not terrible for this team. Not as bad. I think last time was a minute 40. So about the last 2 minutes left here. He picks a nice and easy speed team that he can hopefully farm. We are faster than this person, so that's good. And Arbiter doesn't have return meter reset, so she cuts in. And see, this is where I know everybody, or if I was playing this, I know everybody's locked out, so I wouldn't have bothered to control who gets slept. But we see Trunda nukes everybody as per usual. So now here is where this is actually really funny, because we actually saw this account when I was pushing on Clyde's, and I decided not to hit it because I was afraid it might be faster than me. This account with an Arbiter is actually faster than my Siphi. So my Siphi is 389 speed, and that Arbiter, who has a 4 less base speed, is actually faster. And the thing is, on offense, Siphi actually has an additional +1 speed boost compared to Arbiter. So that means that Arbiter on that account is bare minimum 391 speed, which is just absolutely crazy. So now he picks a different speed team that we are hopefully faster than, with a Tormund. Nice and easy, 13 seconds, real quick farm. 35 seconds left. I think he tries to get one more fight in. He's kind of scrambling, trying to pick somebody. Goes for a refresh, 27 seconds here. Picks a team. I mean, at this point, you're kind of scrambling. You just pick anything that you think you can win against. Unfortunately, Duchess Necrit with Lydia is going to be a little bit difficult unless you get super lucky. And we see here, unfortunately, Duchess procs reaction, Duchess procs Swift Parry, Lydia and Necrit proc reaction, and Kandrifon, I'm pretty sure procs reaction because it looks like he didn't even take any damage at all. So unfortunately, Kandrifon goes and A1 kills Trunda here. We're already past the time limit to get the fight in before reset, and then we actually get the revive blocked by Lydia. Luckily, we had circled back around to Arbiter's A4 to revive, but Necrit places his unresistible decrease attack on. So we're hoping that Trunda can take a turn before this Candraphon. It is a pretty slow candy, so I think she does go here with her A2. He picks the correct high health target there, so that's really good to see. Unfortunately, Candraphon still does not die from that, and then kills Trunda once again. One of the very difficult champions for Trunda to deal with. 1 minute exactly. So that fight did not get in, unfortunately. But he goes and he looks, and he finishes 47th, I believe, this week. I wasn't expecting to do the little twirl. Yep, 47th on my account. Considering he doesn't push Platinum himself normally, honestly, I'm pretty impressed by this. I think he recovered decently after having a couple of blunders. I think that the big mistake that I talked about was using Trunda's A2 ability on people who still have reaction. I think that a lot of his fights could have gone faster if he just opened with her A1 and then followed up with double nuke once people had used up their reaction. But, you know, it was a fun experience for me, fun experience for him. He got to play on an account with, you know, a bunch of champions he doesn't have, and I got to get a really good look at sort of high gold 4 low platinum. And honestly, I'm really glad I did this. I'm really glad I get to see what other people who are trying to fight and scramble for platinum every week, what they go through, and how one single mistake can make or break platinum. Like, for me, a single mistake is like, oh man, I'm out of top 5, top 10, top 20 or whatever. But you know, when you're fighting everybody else at high gold 4, one mistake and you're not in platinum. And that's, of course, that feels bad to make one and be out, but at the same time, it, you know, it adds a really fun aspect where it's like really tense, you know. But yeah, so 47th this week. Really proud of him. Really happy that we got to do this. Let me know if you guys think that this was fun or interesting to have me push on a different account and someone else push on my account. This is probably something I wouldn't do super often because I would like pushing on my own account. I want, you know, I'm very competitive. I want to go for trophies. I want to go for wins. But if people really like this, you know, maybe I'll consider it more frequently than I would normally. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I will see you guys on a new video soon. Peace.